colleagues, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak in this conference. My presentation will be about functioning the pharmacovigilance system per se. Dr. Samsonov spoke about real-world evidence. I will just speak about the pharmacovigilance system and its maintenance. You know, it's difficult to make a presentation for 10 minutes, but I have defined the 3 main words that reflect the effect on the system as a whole. And the main thing is higher speed of process and dynamism. But there is, you know, the Pharmaca system, like any other system, and it is a very patriarchal, stable, and slowly changing system. But for the last 3 years, very many things have taken place, and we had to react, to respond very quickly. Another aspect which is important is changes in all spheres. For recently, there have been very many dramatic, outstanding political, medical changes, and they touched upon all spheres of our life. If we project it to the safety issues, really it changed the regulatory approaches, it changed pharmaceutical companies. All the spheres changed very much. And we cannot but note that the history with pandemic very quickly raised the awareness of specialists in the field of pharmacovigilance. If 2 or 3 years ago, some people asked me, what are you, what you are doing? And they didn't know what is safety of drugs, what is pharmacovigilance. But today, the society wants to know more about it. That's why the raising awareness is a very, very good event for us. And facing difficult situations, the pharmacovigilance system must be stable. It must be continuous and faultless. When the pandemic broke out and first lockdowns were announced, all the efforts were made to ensure the process of information, communication with partners, communication with regulatory authorities, and it was not always successful. But 3 years have passed, and turning back, we may say that in many respects we managed this system very well, managed this challenge very well. And of course, all these things affected the structure of the processes if someone had told me that our employees will be spread throughout the country, I would have been surprised. But now all people work in faraway places online, and even conferences and meetings are held online. Very important changes have taken place in the system of pharmacovigilance itself. So we have recently discussed a new document, renewed version or innovated version of the good pharmacovigilance practice. And pandemic process demanded that we expedite introducing electronic systems. Today we have spoken about databases, but the international standard on the electronic data exchange has simplified our work. This is R2B3 ISH that allow regulators, pharmaceutical companies to exchange electronically messages about or information about adverse events. When there are tens of them, dozens of them, but when we have hundreds, thousands, and you know, this notices, the number of these notices becomes a very, very important issue and a difficult one. And of course, the instruments we have help us simplify this work. Our company today has tuned electronic ways, and I'm very pleased to participate in this process. And the volume of work is huge, but that allows to cut our costs and improve quality. One more important factor of the recent days is all aspects of pharmacovigilance for the drugs that used for coronavirus infection. And there are very important aspects associated with the control, monitoring, and safety and efficacy of these products on the market. What has pandemic given us? It gave a very serious load, provided a very serious load on the healthcare system as a whole. We may speak about the unprecedented number of notices that were made, and we have electronic databases that allow us exchanging these notices, and that is wonderful. Also within the COVID project, we had a number of monitoring programs for receiving retrospective or prospective data from COVID hospitals. And in a number of cases, we faced the problems of communication with healthcare professionals. Yes, this is COVID, specialist works in the red zone, and you can get this notice, but the follow-up gets stuck. But nevertheless, we saw difficulties in getting retrospective data from electronic medical records. And our idea was to unite three large centers. But when we analyzed it, we saw that these systems are very difficult to be united. That's why we made this analysis mainly manually. We had to analyze the data manually. The events of the recent days have shown us given us very many opportunities of raising attention to pharmacovigilance. There is a dialogue with regulatory authorities in the sphere of discussing risks or informing the physicians. But the speed and efficiency of this communication has risen many times, multifold. Also, we introduced new systems of document turnover, not only exchange of electronic data, but it is also the document turnover, storage of information. It all requires IT solutions in the future. And there is a necessity to ensure safety control of drugs in the future and of improving the system, of expediting the process of introduction of those IT solutions that were planned before. And we need to perfect those systems that we have now. We spoke about electronic ways of analysis, analyzing medical information. In modern conditions, it is a reality already. And we need to move further in this direction. A very important aspect is to introduce the system of risk monitoring and organize the schemes of information data collection. Dear colleagues, thank you